It's all you tonight. It's all you. The whole member items.
Okay, it's let's call this meeting to order. It is, what day is it? September 13th, 7:00. We'll start with roll call to my left.
Homer, City Council.
Dr. Joseph Ford, City Council member.
Shelley Carsolari, City Council member.
Ronnie Price, Mayor.
Mike Warrington, City Council member.
Troy Tabor, City Council member.
Tim Berry, City Council member.
Bob Buchanan, Police Chief.
Rick Lance, Director of Public Works and Utilities.
Lance Onstott, Assistant City Administrator.
Chad Russell, Fire Chief.
JT Klaus, City Attorney.
Jessica Williams with City Attorney.
Les Mangus, Director of Community Development.
Susan Renner, City Clerk and Mess Maker.
Jennifer McCausland, City Administrator.
All right. At this time, Stephen Bishop, pastor of Generation Church, will lead us in invocation.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, just before I start to pray, I just want to say one thing. I hope that when we came in here today, we're in expectation of things getting settled, things moving forward, and allowing the Lord to intervene. Man can do a lot of things, but he can't do all things. So if you would bow your heads, I'd like to pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we just say thank you. We can thank you for waking up this morning and giving the breath that we've breathed today, God. You allowed us to see today because you have a plan, not only for me, but everybody in here. And Lord, I pray that we wouldn't expire until your will would be done here on the earth. Lord, you orchestrate this meeting. We're going to hand it over to you. Man is infallible, Lord. Lord, man is fallible and infallible, Lord. At times he doesn't know the answers, but Lord, you do. And so I just ask, God, that we would yield to you today. Give this meeting over to you. And Lord, if you don't go with us, we can't go. And so, Lord, I ask that you would go with us today. Lord, I am also asking for a hedge of protection around this city. Lord, we come against fentanyl and the drugs, Father, that are trying to permeate this city and take our youth, take the people, God. We ask, Father, that for your protection against theft, Lord, that you would they would have a change of heart. And Lord, I'm asking for protection for every one of these city workers, God, those who chose to serve something larger than themselves. I'm asking, Lord, for you to bless them, protect them, and Lord, give them wisdom beyond their years. Lord, Solomon said to ask for wisdom and you would give it liberally. So Lord, we're asking today for wisdom on how to lead the city to victory, Lord. And in the end, we all win. So Lord, I say thank you again. And we pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, if you would join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this time I'll open the floor for public forum. Public forum, if you have something you'd like to say, state your name, your address, and keep it short. Any takers? All right. Public forum closed. Acceptance of agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Events request, Megan Shapal presentation and Daniel Shapal will do requests. Greater Andover Days presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
We know each other? No, I'm just curious.
Never met.
All right.
We have.
Sorry, Daniel.
That's all right. You threw me off. We have. Forgot what I was up here for. We have our update for you on 2022 GAD. So September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd. Megan has some details for you on the schedule of events, some new amenities for this season. We are also coming to you for the traditional 4 authorizations for you. Those are first, the sale of goods in the park all 3 days. Second is the vending of alcohol at the beer garden on Saturday only. Third is the Yorktown street closure from Central South to Lake George Dam Road on to facilitate the fireworks display. And fourth and final is the actual fireworks display. It's an arrangement with Stellar. You'll see in your packet the approved permit that went through the fire department, the site plan. It's similar than previous years. But if you have any questions about any of those details, I'll try to answer them the best I can. And then Megan has the other updates for you.
Okay, like Daniel said, Greater Andover Days is right around the corner. We are in our 55th year. The committee has been hard at work behind the scenes for the last couple months, starting as early as April, meeting monthly, a couple times a month. It will be held, as Daniel mentioned, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of the changes that the committee members made at the very beginning was to omit the Thursday evening portion of Greater Andover Days. So this will allow a little more extra participation throughout those 3 days, more people there, more activities than ever. So a good change made by the committee for that. This year's theme is Stand with Andover for the Greater Andover Days. So this ties back into our Stand with Andover campaign that we created to go with the tornado. So we're working off of that theme as well and encouraging people with their parades, with all of those entries, to follow along with that theme. Buttons are now for sale for $3. So they will be for sale until Thursday, September 29th, and then they will increase to $5 starting on Friday, September 30th. They're available at numerous places: Andover City Hall, Andover Public Library, Andover State Bank, Andover Chamber of Commerce, Andover Senior Center, and South Central Mental Health. And another adjustment that the city staff had worked on this year was some extra online registrations. So for things like the parade, the cook-off contest, golf tournament, there is opportunity for people to sign up online through our Rec 1 program. So this is helpful for those people who like online digital registration. We do still have the paper form as well. So if people want to do that traditional way, that is still available as well. We do have a few new events this year that we'd like to go over real fast. We are implementing a photography contest this year, again, to play with the Stand with Andover campaign. Melissa Kelly and Tom Taylor have been working hard with that. We also have the YMCA, who wanted to be more involved this year and get out into the community. They are doing a sunrise Zumba and a boot camp. So you'll see that as part of your Greater Andover Days lineup. The Parks and Recreation team is putting together a touch-a-truck so kids can come out, take their pictures, check out all of the trucks. And then last but not least, we will be having a special thank you ceremony to recognize those helpers during the tornado. We'll be doing that at 5:30 p.m. to honor them on Saturday evening. A full schedule of Greater Andover Days can be found in your packet this evening, but just to highlight a few of the events, some of those bigger events. On Friday, we'll have pickleball held at the ACC. We'll have bingo going on at the Senior Center. We are bringing back the Tailgating and Cook-Off competition. Thank you to Councilmember Troy Tabor for helping out with that and brainstorming and helping us get excited about that again. And then the Carnival, which will take place on Friday as well as Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, we'll have our golf tournament, the ever favorite parade, business craft expo, car show, kid fest, and concert featuring Annie Up and Pats. Sunday, many of the same things: food vendors out again, carnival, and our ever favorite, the disc golf tournament. We also do have our coloring contest going on right now and the counting contest that's moving around from different locations, so be sure to check that out. And still looking for volunteers. Let us know if you're interested in volunteering for Greater Andover Days. Our sponsor update at this time is just under $16,000 total. And then finally, you can find more information online at andoverks.com/GAD. We do have our schedule on there, and we're also implementing a QR code, which you may have seen around town. That's on some of our flyers. When you purchase a button, you can just scan that QR code, and that will take you directly to the Greater Andover Days schedule on the website.
Any questions, statements?
I do have one question, Mr. Mayor, and Jenny, you may, but do we not have to authorize to close Andover Road for the parade?
I don't think we ever have. I mean, you asked that and it seems like a really good question, but I don't think we
I
ever
don't remember
have.
us ever doing it. I was just, after reading about closing Yorktown Road, I just wasn't sure. Sorry.
I don't think it wouldn't hurt if you threw it into your motion, but I don't think we've ever done that before.
Okay, just asking.
But just to make it clear though, if anybody else, if it wasn't the city that's wanting to close it, if somebody else wanted to close it, they would have to come ask for approval.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Megan, I just do want to comment that I think it's awesome trying to step us up into the, I don't know what you want to call it, technology, digital age with the QR codes on the badges. And that'll be handy when my wife asks, hey, what's the next event? And I can scan the QR code on my phone. So just the technology, you bring that with volunteering and everything as well. So that's pretty cool. Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I move to authorize the sale of goods and services in Central Park from Friday, September 30th through Sunday, October 2nd for Greater Andover Days. Authorize the consumption of alcohol in the Central Park Beer Garden on Saturday, October 1st for the Greater Andover Days. Authorize the closure of Yorktown Parkway between Central Avenue and the Lake George Dam Road between noon and midnight on Saturday, October 1st. And approve the shooting of fireworks at approximately 9:15 p.m. on Saturday, October 1st. As well on Saturday, October 1st, partial closure of Andover Road, tentatively in between 21st and Central Avenue. East to Yorktown Road, sorry, Shea Road. Thank you. Sorry, Shea Road at Central High School.
And folks, this is why it's normally written down for us. No, good job, Homer.
I gladly second that.
Yeah, Susan, can you go ahead?
Is it true that the mayor of Andover promoted the disc golf tournament on iHeartRadio?
I can confirm, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Good job.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're on the Bobby Bone Show.
All in favor?
Is that the AM station?
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay. Oops, no.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Jeez.
Consent agenda 8-1 through 8-3.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve consent and agenda items 8.1 through 8.3 as presented.
Second, Troy.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries 6-0. Franchise agreement. Jennifer will speak to us about this. Butler Rural Electric Internet.
Mr. Mayor and Council, you have before you tonight a franchise ordinance from Butler Rural Electric, but this is not a electric franchise request. This is for internet connection, specifically fiber to the home, and they do have a subdivision that is interested in pursuing this, and so we're excited to be able to present this franchise agreement to you tonight. Sarah Madden with Butler Rural Electric is here tonight if she'd like to address the council or if you have any questions for her about this agreement.
Anyone?
Thank you for having me this evening. I appreciate it. Again, I'm Sarah with Butler Electric Cooperative, and we are offering Velocity High-Speed Internet. I would entertain any questions if you have them.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
What about the rest of Andover? What would stop you from offering it to everyone here?
At this time, it's just a matter of growth and what we can provide. We're hoping to provide high-speed internet to a new subdivision, to fiber to the home. It will be one of our first fiber to the home projects. After that, we will, have to do research on where we go from there.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt an ordinance granting a franchise and authorizing Butler Rural Electric Cooperative, a telecommunications local exchange service provider, to provide local exchange service within the city of Andover, Kansas.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, ma'am. All right, 10, zoning amendment, 10-1, Village Crossing PUD Z-PUD 22-0001. And I'll need to, and it says Justin, but I'm not seeing Justin. So and I
Les.
need to read this item right here. This application requesting an amendment to the Village Crossing Preliminary Plans Unit Development Plan to amend Parcel 3 to allow for the use of drive-in or drive-through restaurants on the property generally located at 301 South Andover Road, Andover, Kansas. Before we proceed with the hearing, I'll ask the council if any of them intend to disqualify themselves from participating in this case because they have conflict of interest.
No.
No.
I will now ask the council if any of them have received any ex parte verbal or written communication prior to this agenda item, which they would like to share.
No.
No.
And Susan has left the building. Has the city clerk received any protest petitions on the case?
Mr. Mayor, I can answer that as deputy city clerk. No valid protest petitions have been received in the office of the city clerk.
All right, thank you, sir. Where was I? I asked the council members if they have received any copies of the draft minutes of the Plan Commission for August 16th, 2022, which summarizes the hearing of the case.
Yes.
I now call on City Zoning Administrator Les Mangus to provide us with a report on this case.
I think the mayor pretty much explained this amendment. It's a very simple amendment to the Village Crossing PUD, which is generally the 300 block of South Andover Road. This particular amendment is one lot specific to allow a drive-in, drive-through type of restaurant on that lot. The restaurant is already permitted. This simply adds the ability to have that drive-through restaurant. Planning Commission held that public hearing and unanimously voted to recommend approval of the amendment. Phil Meyer with Baughman Company apologized. He was unable to come tonight to represent the applicant on this case, but he asked that I field any questions regarding the case.
Any questions?
No.
Have any written communications been received? Ms. Susan?
The office of the city clerk has not received any petitions.
Thank you, ma'am. Does the applicant wish to present any new information? I'm assuming no. We would like to welcome anyone interested in this agenda item to come to the podium and give your name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. The governing body has been provided the draft minutes and the video of the public hearing has been available, so please limit your comments to information not previously shared at the public hearing held on August 16th, 2020. Does anyone from the public have any new information? No. Does the applicant have any further response to public comments? No. Assuming the council has received all the information they need on this case, you have received an outline of the choices provided under the state statutes for council action KSA 12-757C. Council, how do you wish to act?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt the ordinance approving the recommendation of the Planning Commission for zoning case ZPUD 22-0001, amending the Village Crossing Preliminary Plan Unit Development Plan.
Second. Yes.
Go with Tim or Troy?
Go with Tim, it's fine.
Any further
That's
discussion?
definitely louder.
Mayor, I mean, the only thing I guess I would add or statement is that there's already a drive-through south of that. I don't know why we would change it now.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Persons aggrieved, let me try this again. Persons aggrieved by the final decision of the council on this matter have 30 days after today's action within which to appeal to the district court. All right, onward and upward. 12, Fire Station number 2, bid package number 1.
Mr. Mayor, you skipped 11.
Number 11.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, gentlemen. 11, unsafe structure hearing, and Chip is going to speak to us about that. I apologize, sir.
No worries, Mr. Mayor, Council. We bring 4 to you this evening. 3 have already been cleared off. 804 South Hedgewood, 709 East Hedgewood, and 746 South Hedgewood have all been cleared, made safe and secure, and the checks have been returned. The only one we're bringing to the council tonight is 136 East Hamlin. So we need to, sorry.
Oh, need to open up.
We need to open with a hearing.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to open a public hearing if anyone?
Yes. And so we'll open a public hearing for 136 East Hamlin Road. Right.
So on this structure, as you can see from the pictures, it received a tremendous amount of damage from the tornado on the 29th. With the amount of damage that's visible, and after speaking with the insurance company, they have decided to demolish the home. At the time I wrote this up, I was unable to make contact with Mr. Big. However, over the weekend, I did make contact with him. He's informed me that next Monday, the 19th, the demolition will begin on this home, and it'll be taken down and then rebuilt. So.
Close hearing.
Yeah, if there's no one else to speak on it, then we'll just close the public hearing.
All right. If no one else wants to talk about this structure, we'll close the public hearing at this time.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt a resolution requiring the repair or demolition of the structures and removal of objects located at 136 East Hamlin Road for Kansas.
Second.
Any further discussion?
In here, do we have to give the 30 days or anything like that?
I believe, yes, we do. We need to state that in the resolution.
Alrighty.
So I've asked for 30 days. It'll be taken care of much quicker than that. I am
From today?
From today, yes. So October 13th would be the drop dead date.
October 13th.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I may amend my motion to include the requirement that this be completed by October 13th of 2022.
Amend my second.
Very good. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Is that, the addition of the date, is that to clear the property or to do anything other than that?
Well, in the motion, it gives 2 options. It says repair or demolition, so it would be for that. Yeah, it wouldn't be for any one item, it'd be for either.
And their intentions just are to demo, correct?
Yeah, their intention is to demolish the home and then to rebuild.
Okay.
So Mr. Begg is actually here this evening. So,
All right.
so before I can release the funds back to Mr. Begg, I will ensure that the property has been made safe and secure and it meets all of our standards and requirements.
Very good.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 12-1, back to the fire station. Number 2, 12-1 bid package. Chief Russell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Come to you this evening with our first guaranteed maximum price from our contractor for the fire station projects. So Fire Station 2, the new fire station, will be split into 2 GMAX or guaranteed maximum price proposals. This is the first, and then we'll have another one next month. And then the remodel of Station 1 will be the third. So there will actually be 3. This proposal has 9 different trades in it, and it's a total of $2,423,026. The good news is that after all of the math is done at this price, we are approximately $41,000 under our budget estimate. So we're right where we need to be. That does not obviously mean we have $41,000 to spend. We have another proposal for that project. I'm certainly not breathing easy, but I'm breathing a little bit easier. We had a lot of risky trades in this proposal. And so we obviously still have risk with the prices being so volatile, but I'm really happy about the way this turned out. I will note before I ask Crossland to come up and talk about the proposal and give you some more details, that this is the first time using this construction manager at risk process, and we were all a little nervous about it. And I just want to say that Crossland did bid some of these packages. I went to the public bid opening that was held at Crossland Construction. There were others in attendance as well. And at that bid opening, Crossland opened their bids before they opened anyone else's. They did end up being high on everything they bid, so they did not get selected as a successful bidder. But just a note. So I will certainly be here for questions, but now I turn the floor over to Wade Siebert from Crossland Construction. He's your project manager.
How you doing?
Thanks for having us tonight. And I want to say that we're very excited and privileged to be working on this project so far. It's been a lot of fun. So just to recap what Chief said, bid package 1, which was our civil, structural, and underground package, came in at $2,423,026. Our bid package 2 for fire station number 2 will be the remainder of that. That for fire station 2 will be architectural and MEP package. And its current budget is $4,091,959. Again, as Chief mentioned, our bid package 3 or a GMAX 3 will be for fire station 1, the renovation of that facility. That budget's $1,719,381, which brings us to our current and for our initial and current overall construction budget of $8,234,366. So that's a brief update. Open for any questions anybody might have.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Wade, I do have a question. I don't know if it's you or Chief Russell, but for example, on the Andover Fire Station number 2 bid tabulation spreadsheet, page 1 of 2, if I go down to the bottom, the 32B landscaping and irrigation, Crossland, is that the bid was 10,000, but then the winning bid was CLM at 100,000?
So that is CLM's winning, both of those are green. So CLM's winning bid of $100,435. The Crossland piece is the landscape maintenance allowance that will carry as an allowance only of $10,000.
Thank you. Okay.
As needed or not needed, however.
Okay. Thank you.
To be returned if not used.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the bids from the lowest qualified bidders as presented and accept the guaranteed maximum price proposal from Crossland Construction, Wichita, Kansas for Fire Station 2 bid package 1 in the amount of $2,423,026 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreements with Crossland.
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just have a general question, I think, maybe for Jenny or Les, and that would be, so this is all paid for by tax, the voted on tax increase to pay for it. And with the number, the 8.2 million, how far under or over our expectation from the very beginning of this is that? Meaning we're still fine, right? To be able to cover it all with the sales tax sunsetting at the years that we voted on.
It will sunset in 8 years. It has to by law. So where we are today is that phase 3, which is your community center, is really where any difference is going to be realized. So at this point, last I looked at the projections, I think we still had about $3 million set aside for the community center. And assuming sales tax continues to come in at the same pace that it's come in so far, we should be able to build a building for $3 million. But that's where your wiggle room is going to be. It's your last project of the sales tax. And so excess money can go towards that. Shortfalls will come out of that.
So projection wise, are you saying that it does appear though that we're on track to even cover all of that? From sales
Yes.
tax?
Yeah. I think we had talked about up to a $4 million community center. So it may be slightly scaled back from what it was originally, but I think that you'll still be able to achieve all of the projects that were promised. Yes.
Okay. And we're not scared that maybe food sales tax, I know that currently it's being talked about where it wouldn't affect the city's directly sales tax, although I'll tell you it is being talked about right now. So assuming that stays the same, we're good.
I think that we are in a pretty good position with regard to sales tax. We're getting the consumption sales tax numbers now monthly, as well as your retail sales tax. And consumption is when people order something on Amazon or Home Depot, wherever, and it comes to their home. Pretty consistently, 25% of our sales tax is coming in now from that consumption sales tax. So that is helping lift a little bit of the burden on any one particular type of retail, because I think that's here to stay. I think people will be continuing to order many things to be delivered at their home.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I do want to comment, Chief Russell and Wade, and just keeping with the integrity of the bid process. And I really appreciate you, Chief Russell, identifying the fact that Crossland was put in bids as well, and they opened them first. I feel like that really holds the integrity going forward with the project. So I just wanted to point that out a little bit more, but I just appreciate you both doing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, on a side note, I'd like to thank Crossland during the time of the tornado for stepping up to our community, for all the resources that you offered us, not only in manpower, but in equipment, and just your general Good Samaritan behavior that makes me really proud to see what you guys did as a company and how you care about this community as well. So just thank you. It does reflect well on your character. So
thank you very much.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 13, revenue neutral rate 2023. 13-1, resolution to exceed rate. And Jennifer again will speak to us this evening.
Yes, Mayor and Council, as I'm sure you all remember, just 2 weeks ago, we had a public hearing on the revenue neutral rate, as well as a public hearing on the annual budget. I've put the presentation for the budget in your packet for quick reference, but I didn't really think that I needed to run through it a second time. The reason we broke those apart was Councilman Tabor had brought up the good point last year that if something comes out of that public hearing that you would like us to make an adjustment on or look at, then by not adopting in the same night, we've allowed ourselves that time to do so. There was no request by anybody to make any edits or changes to the budget as it was presented last week. And so that's what's before you tonight. The one note I would make on revenue neutral rate is that there is a roll call vote required by state statute, which is a little bit unusual for what we do. And I believe Susan's got a form that she'll use to take that roll call vote. And when you're ready to do so, we'll just vote a little bit differently than we normally do. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move to adopt a resolution of the City of Andover, Kansas to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate.
Second. Ooh. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait, can I do like a statement though before we do that? No, that's fine. So, well, it just is, we normally do that. So I was going to say, so in a meeting I was in recently regarding the revenue neutral rate and how it's working in Kansas today, those that are working on this in the state legislature, the word is that it didn't work out the way that was expected this year, and potential thinking of moving away from councils being able to vote at all, and this all go to a public vote if it were to if we were to go over the revenue neutral rate, which sounds like that was probably the plan from the beginning, FYI. So if you know anyone in the legislature would maybe talk in whatever way you see fit, it might be worth a conversation with your legislators. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mike Warrington.
Yes.
Troy Taylor.
Yes.
Jen Berry.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion carries 6-0.
I should have said that.
14, budget 2023, 14-1, adoption. Jennifer will speak to us again.
And Mr. Mayor and Council, I don't really have anything to add for you. For the public that maybe wasn't here last week, I will share that the budget presented is at a flat mill rate, meaning that the mill rate is being requested to stay at the same for 2023 as 2022, and that is at 43.831 mills. We do have the presentation available online, and there's always video of all of our meetings online if anyone would like to see that presentation.
Mr. Mayor. Move to I move to approve the 2023 budget for the city of Andover as presented at the budget hearing on August 30th, 2022.
Any further discussion?
Thanks, city staff, for your hard work on the budget. It's super hard to have to make the cuts to keep everything flat like this, and you guys just did a great job of making it work, because I know it wasn't easy.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 15 Courtyard at Cornerstone, 15-1 bid award paving. And Rick, where you at? There, you moved on me.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, this is for the paving portion of the Courtyard at Cornerstones. The water, sewer, and other utility work is neared completion. In fact, I think it has completed already. The developer is proceeding on the next phase of this, which would be the paving portion of this. Meese Construction was the apparent low bidder on this project. Staff has reviewed the bids along with the consultant, and bid tabs have been calculated and presented for council consideration. Staff is recommending the award to Meese Construction. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
Mr. Mayor, I just have one comment. I noticed that all four of the bidders were quite lower than the engineer's estimate, which is great, and they were very similar. The engineer's estimate was about 230,000 higher. So that's probably good for you to see that you saved that much in that cost. So yes, it was quite a bit of change in that. So that's good.
Yeah, it probably helps that this one came about pretty fast. So the estimate, usually is derived from the petition limits, which sometimes set for a while. And in this climate, if they set very long, it's really tough on the bidding process. But in this particular case, this project came and moved fairly fast. So the original estimates were not very old. So it's probably more current for current prices.
That was good.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the lowest qualified bid from Meese Construction Incorporated, Wichita, Kansas, in the amount of $1,645,969.80, and reject all other bids and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for paving and incidental drainage to serve courtyards at Cornerstone.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 16, Prairie Creek Addition 6 Phase. Lance Onstadt will speak to us about this.
Mr. Mayor, Council. Councilmember Warrington, I can confirm that we do like it when bids come in within petition limits and engineers' estimates, but they don't always do that. Hence the reason why we have revised petitions for you to consider for the Prairie Creek Addition 6th phase. Originally, the developer submitted petitions to the governing body in May of 2021 for the improvements necessary to serve this particular subdivision. Bids were recently opened, which your Director of Public Works and Utilities will talk to you about in 2 items after we do the petition work. Unfortunately, the petition or those bids were specifically for the internal paving or the neighborhood streets, and then the required improvements to the arterial street that's adjacent to the subdivision. In this case, that's Prairie Creek Road. The low bids exceeded the petition amounts, thus requiring these revised petitions for your consideration. So the revised petitions increase the amount of the petition, but they retain the cost-sharing relationship of the original petitions. So way back in May of 2021, the internal paving, so the neighborhood streets, it does have a cost-sharing relationship of 75% of the costs will be paid for by the benefit district, the lots that you see here. The city at large will pay 25% of those. That's per city policy. And then also per city policy, the improvements to Prairie Creek Road, the benefit district will be responsible for 50.5% of those improvements, and the city at large will pick up the remainder, which is 49.5. All those percentages stay exactly the same from the petitions that were accepted in May of 2021. The numbers have just been changed to reflect the bids that were opened last week. So outside of the petitions, this item also includes your developer's agreement. The only thing that's changed in the developer's agreement is the required additional financial guarantee that the developer has to submit to the city. They have submitted that. And then that resolution of advisability just amends your previous resolution that you adopted that determines these improvements are advisable. So any questions about any of those items, I can definitely answer.
I did fail, just for the record, I failed to mention this is 16-1, the revised petitions, developers agreement, and amending resolution of advisability. So I wanted to make sure we get that to the public, right? So if you have any questions, council.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the revised internal paving and revised Prairie Creek Road paving petitions, approve the developer's agreement, and adopt an amending resolution of advisability related to the Prairie Creek Addition 6th phase.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 16-2, amending work ordinance.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt an amending ordinance authorizing the construction of certain internal improvements related to the Prairie Creek Addition 6th phase.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 16-3, bid award street improvements. And Rick's going to speak to us about it this evening.
Mr. Mayor and Council, as Mr. Onstad has already covered, there is a cost share on the higher than normal on road work when it's related to subdivision, when it is on a arterial type street and we want to choose to upsize this section of the road. We do have further road work planned with a bridge replacement on the KTA portion of the bridge going over in a few years down the road. And this will tie into that area of that road work. So there's a little upsizing of the road. That's what drives that cost up. Other than that, this is a pretty standard petition or a pretty standard bid award for subdivision work. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
To Mike's point, it looks like we saved on the last one from the engineer's estimate and then put it on this one.
This is a 200 over.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the lowest qualified bid from Kansas Paving, Wichita, Kansas, in the amount of $1,238,067 and reject all other bids and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for street improvements to serve Prairie Creek Addition 6th phase and Prairie Creek Road.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 17, 159th Street Project, 17-1 City of Wichita Agreement. Unless Mangus again will speak to us.
Mr. Mayor and Council, the 159th Street Improvement Project between Central and US 54 has a sizable water line component to the road project. The minor component are the city of Andover responsibility for relocations of water lines that are in conflict with the road paving improvements. In this case, the major water line improvement is the city of Wichita has asked to extend a water main to connect a main transmission line that is incomplete between US 54 and Central. We think it's a great addition. This agreement just establishes how those things are paid for. The Andover relocations are Andover expenses. The Wichita relocations are Wichita expenses. And this major water line, transmission line, is a Wichita expense. The agreement establishes that after the bids are taken on the project, the city of Wichita remits a check to the city of Andover for the bid amount. And then once all the work is completed, we audit those costs and square up the deal between the city of Andover and the city of Wichita. It's the same agreement we've used on many projects where water line work has been included in paving projects.
Thank you. Any questions?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I do.
Go ahead, sir.
Whereabouts on 159th will this, I mean, like, where is the water pipe that will be?
The major water transmission line is on the west side of 159th Street. And there is a segment about the half-mile line where two subdivisions ended the installation of that water transmission line, and the city of Wichita never filled in the gap between those two subdivisions. It's a great deal. It gives us some redundancy in our water system should anything ever break down where we would need to reroute how water is piped into Andover.
Smart.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the agreement with the city of Wichita establishing the cost sharing for the relocation and construction of water lines for the 159th Street Improvement Project 008N-06N 0692-01.
Second. Any further discussion?
Has has Wichita already approved this, or is this the first step, or?
This is the first step. Their staff has approved it. It will go over to the city council for their approval.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 18, executive session. 18-1, executive session, land acquisition.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to recess into executive session for the discussions relating to the acquisition of real property per KSA 75-4319B6. Session include governing bodies, city administrator, community development director, and assistant city administrator, and resume in open session at 8:06.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0.
Executive session.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. And we-
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the estimate of just compensation to acquire a temporary construction easement for Founders Parkway for parcel ID R23980 and authorize the Director of Community Development to make such an offer.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Members' items.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one tonight. October 11th is the fire station groundbreaking at 5:30 PM. All public is welcome to come and join. Chief, is there going to be cookies and stuff like that, or is it just-
Originally, no. However, oh no, is Megan here? I'm going to be in trouble. Oh, she's already gone.
Okay.
We had decided together that we were not going to have refreshments. We have to get to council at 7 PM. But the Andover Police and Fire Foundation reached out and they are very desirous of doing that. So there will be refreshments.
Yeah, awesome. So everybody's invited to join us at the groundbreaking and the new fire station at basically Minnehaha and Andover Road at 5:30, October 11th. It's a Tuesday. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
want to point out that on September 30th from 6 to 9 PM is the Tailgate and Cook-Off. And I'm going to be there, and I wish that everyone else would get a spot and compete against me. I don't want to win all the prizes.
Yeah, you do, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And is it just anything, Troy? Any cooking? You're cooking anything, or is it chili?
You can cook anything. It's not the chili cook-off.
Okay.
It is food.
Food cook-off.
Anything.
All right.
Cook-off. Margaritas, we're hoping the library comes back with the margaritas for sure, yeah. So a couple other quick things. One is we still have a bicycle pedestrian count. We're like understaffed for that through WAMPO. So wampo.org, go there and sign up, volunteer a little bit of time to get a correct count for Andover. Also,
Is there a training coming for that if you signed up? I signed up to volunteer, but then is there any?
there should be information there
Okay.
because it's like,
Why just where do I go?
you're right. I'll make sure that,
Okay.
all right. So
Troy will send you GPS coordinates.
Ugh, I lost count.
I'm sorry.
Where was I?
It's about, you got a ticket. So, all right. So one thing I wanted to bring up that I just would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. And after talking about, I kind of brought it up to Jenny a little bit in my thinking, but it's probably a big no. But there's a building that's for sale right next to the fire department.
No.
And the question is there any future need or use for the city of Andover to purchase a building that's actually right next to existing city buildings? Probably no. It's, I mean, lots of no's because it's on Andover Road. It's prime real estate for businesses. We don't have any expected expansion today that we've ever talked about. So really, I'm just throwing it out there. If we're thinking about the future and there is a potential want/need, the property's for sale now. So that's it. I'm not saying to do it or not, but I'm just throwing it out there in case
Which one
anybody
is, I'm sorry,
didn't
Troy?
see it. It's right on the corner of the road. So you got the fire department and the historical museum,
Yeah.
and right next to that
Yeah.
is it's a home.
It used to be the post
Was
office
it the
back in the
post
day.
office?
Yeah. It's been several things since the post office, I think.
So it's been a governmental building at one point anyway. So I just want to throw that out there, maybe to think about or talk about, maybe in a workshop or not, whatever. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew it was there. So one of the, I was at a couple of different summits this week, and one of them was talking about the expansion of fiber optics in smaller cities. And I think the answer is yes on this too already, but are we putting in large enough right-of-way piping for future expansion of fiber optic and other underground utilities outside of electrical on like Yorktown's expansion all the way to 21st Street and I think 159th? I'd have the same question. I'm pretty sure we're good on Andover Road. So whoever might be able to answer that.
On Yorktown, the phase that's been done to date, we did go ahead and put in I don't want to quote the size. It's pretty large because fiber doesn't need a huge conduit, but we do have a pretty good sized conduit that is empty, but the conduit's buried for future fiber at the point in time when we choose to do it. The fiber itself is not terribly expensive. Obviously, getting the pipe in at the time of the road construction is the best and cheapest time to do it. So we did bore that cost at that time for future expansion capabilities.
That's beautiful. The city that they were talking about that did that, and they've doubled in size. And imagine if we went from 15,000 to 30,000 in the future, straight east of us, then obviously that was wonderful foresight on that. So thank you for doing that. That's all I had.
You want to talk about your population percentages?
I didn't want to go. I'm not going to go through all out history, but it is pretty cool that we grew 26.3% based on the census. Realizing the census numbers are a little bit, maybe up to 20% under. We don't have an exact, but that's what we got to go with. So we grew 26% in the last 10 years. And in the previous, and then all of Butler County grew 2.28%. So we grew significant amount. Oddly, in the previous decades, going backwards, it was 76% growth in 10 years, and then 65.5% the year or the 10 before that, 44% 10 before that, and 50% the 10 for that. So we've been a growing community, honestly, since the 70s. It's not necessarily new. It's mostly because of the staff and the people that manage the city, for sure. Obviously, the school system is prime, and that's a reason to move here, but we've never not grown significantly. So expect it, in the next 10 years too, and make sure we manage everything and manage the growth in a way that we can sustain like we are today and provide what the citizens want. So thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah. Thank you, Les, for all those years of hard work for that too.
No kidding.
So today I noticed on the KDOT expansion deal, Jennifer was standing there too. In fact, she brought it up. For some reason, there's going to be less traffic on Andover Road, and they think they need to do away with the light at, gosh dang it, Cloud, which is a functioning stoplight. So I'm just wondering what their logic is. I mean, they seem to think there's an issue having it that close to Andover Road and Kellogg.
They need to drive it.
The reason for that continuous median from the frontage road south is because there will be in the future so much traffic through and northbound left turns. They need the space to queue up left turns to make that left turn at north side Backage Road. So you normally try to keep at least 700 feet between a freeway frontage road and the first full function intersection, which in this case is about where we place the future Backage Road.
Okay. So that makes sense. I didn't think about that. The rerouting of a road coming further south. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
I understand that. That makes sense to me. I couldn't understand why we were doing away with a stoplight that was actually not a high traffic area. I mean, high accident area.
Sure.
And I'm that person that turns before Andover Road coming from the west and goes up through there to go to Dillon's because I avoid the corner at all costs. So that makes sense. We can do it a mile away and get the same result.
That this is ultimate build out for, and that this conceptual plan getting the biggest footprint for the project that for environmental clearance reasons.
Gotcha.
That doesn't mean that that's exactly how that will turn out when it comes to final plans. We've already offered up a lot of input to that concept as far as local circulation goes.
Because we're gonna run into a similar issue on the north side with backage roads and stoplights and such, no?
Yes, they had actually showed the median to cross Founders Parkway. And we all know that we in KDOT are spending tens of millions of dollars to build a backage road and intend to put a traffic light at the Founders Andover intersection.
Yeah.
That concept showed it with a full median across it. We know that won't work.
Okay.
But again, it was a traffic engineer in a cubicle looking at the ultimate configuration.
And I had a couple, and specifically one gentleman say to me this evening, and this is for people listening more than people here, that they're worried about Onewood bringing a lot of traffic through Green Valley. And they need to know that we're going to great lengths to direct traffic away from Onewood into the population of the Heritage and into town to spend money instead of routing through. They seem to be nervous that a lot of people, which they do anyway, I do. I don't use Kellogg and Andover Road. I either turn at Onewood or I go clear up to Yorktown. So they're worried that this is going to cause more traffic through their neighborhood, the apartment complex that is. And I explained to them that the roads are going to be such that they will head to town, not go out of their way to go through Green Valley. Does that make sense?
Sure. We have a project in design to start that Founders Parkway backage road just north of Kellogg to connect between Onewood across Andover Road all the way over to Yorktown Parkway and beyond.
You know, Ronnie,
Intention of-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The intention of that backage road is to carry the local traffic, those local trips that are maybe running over to the Dillon store or up to the bank at Central and Andover Road, rather than forcing it over to use the frontage roads and interfere with all of that highway traffic.
And and that's what I explained to the gentleman, that there'll be less traffic down Onewood because the option to turn there like I do won't be there any longer.
Sure.
You know, so I just was trying to put them at ease to know that there will not be more traffic, there'll probably be less traffic through Onewood because of what the decisions we're making. So go ahead, Troy.
I feel like that's I mean, I know you said that, and I don't know either, but I guess I'd caution ever saying there'll be less. Because I mean, I would assume there'd be more, considering it's not going to be part of the circular system. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just saying I would just caution on saying it's going to be less, because if it's more, you're not in trouble. But
Most people don't. That's the problem we have now, is most people will not go out of their way to take a further route to get to the same spot.
Yeah.
It's just not everybody's like me, but there are a lot of people that turn left off the highway to go through there, and that option will go away with the freeway.
We were talking about that earlier with the county commissioners and assistant county commissioner, is the same thing about people would be in the city would be using the backage roads before they would jump onto the freeway.
Well, and for people coming south on Andover Road, the way they get into the Dillons is going to be through the roundabout, because they're losing that entrance off of Cloud, correct?
They could use the eastbound frontage road over to the roundabout at Plaza Street. Or in the future, with the south backage road, they could go beyond down to the south backage road and come to the Dillons from the backside. Like about where the Kansas Land Tire is.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. Anyone else?
Yeah, we had talked, I was talking to Jenny earlier about us getting copies of those maps to put up in City Hall foyer. If anyone ever comes by, or if we ever need to talk about it in the future, we could have the phase 1 and phase 2 here in the hallway.
Sure, we're happy to do that. We were advised not to release anything to the public until that public meeting, so we're free to do that now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mr. Mayor, just a reminder to the citizens of this great city, the Air Force Base is having their air show this month. It's going to be a great time. Blue Angels will be there flying. A lot of your talented Air Force men and women will be out there showing your tax dollars at work. So September 24th, 25th, go enjoy the Air Force Base.
It's nice. Mr. Mayor, I do have one more thing. So today is for us like software developers. It's International Coder or Programmers Day. It's the 256th day of the year, which is a special number for software developers. I'm sure everybody wanted to know that, and maybe you're maybe you're dumber now for knowing that or not.
Wow,
but-
like one person. Wow.
Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there for all you coders in the audience or in this. Actually, hopefully, there's a bunch in the school system. So
I heard this morning as well on computers that there is some supercomputer that says that computers will not take over the world.
Really?
I don't know.
Mr. Mayor,
Chris,
we did have
say
a
that.
volunteered cleanup day this last Saturday? This last Saturday, and had probably about 30 up, and there's still a lot of work to do, but helping up after the tornado debris and stuff. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Long-term recovery committee is given out so far to this point $58,000. So in 192 cases still, so a lot of ways to go. People still aren't done with the insurance claims, that kind of stuff. So it's still a long process, and just keep those people in your prayers.
And I want to thank one of our younger citizens, Miles McCausland, for representing our city quite well. Quite a little spokesperson, so he was fabulous, really, truly fabulous. I was wowed by it. In fact, I hope he doesn't run against me next year because it could be a problem. But he did a great job. He really did. It's amazing to listen to him. Very clear, very punctual, very astute. Must have got it from his father, but
oh no!
But I don't know. It was very very well done. I'm proud of him.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I do want to give a quick update on that cleanup. It was really quite successful, but we weren't sure how it was going to turn out. Thursday, 2 days before, we had 11 people signed up, 2 of which were my husband and I. So we had 3 projects planned, but when we thought our turnout was going to be so low, we collapsed that down into 1. I think it was the right decision because 32 hands on Yorktown's tree row, it would have been less effective if we'd split them up across 3 different projects. But I've already warned Daniel and Rick that I'll be coming to them to plan an October and a November cleanup date. We're going to get through the events that we have out here in Central Park. We have many of those coming up in the next few weeks. But it was, there was a family from Humboldt, Kansas, where young kids, mom and dad wanted to teach the kids how to be helpers. And so they drove in from Humboldt that morning. So it was a really neat experience. And so when we get those dates, we'll share those with you so that you can come out as well. In that vein, I know there was a request to do Central Park. That was going to be one of those 3 projects. It really felt like we needed to pick the highest pedestrian trafficked project if we were only going to do one. And so that's why we went with the one we went with. As long as there's support from the council, I intended to tell city employees to wear grubby clothes next Tuesday, and in the afternoon, allow any employees who wanted to go ahead and pick up some trash bags, go out into the south end of Central Park in advance of GAD so that we could pick up some of those trees and help our public works staff out who've been working so hard over the last 5 months trying to pick up. So if there's support of that, we'll make that happen next week.
And the Andover Chamber of Commerce had their cornhole deal, and it was quite successful. It was a good time for all. The weather wasn't miserable like it's been all summer, so congratulations on picking the right day. But it was quite successful, I think. How'd you do, Homer?
We were 4-2 this year we didn't have a bye, so it was an actual 4-2. But it was fun. I had a blast. My son came out, my wife came out for a little bit. Fire department and police department. I mean, Buck's spatulas just did it all when you're talking about the burgers and the dogs and stuff. So it was fun just to see everybody out there and you know, all the, you know, just fun that you can have with something like that. So Lori, thanks to the chamber for putting that on. It was appreciated and fun.
Provide an opportunity for me to sit with Mayor Lawrence under a shade tree and just visit too. So that was kind of cool time. So it was just a good time for all. So
Let's not forget about Melissa Etheridge is coming up. not this
24th.
week, But the 24th of September. So
Yeah.
get your tickets.
the same day as the air show, but if you're creative, you can do both. And we want to support McConnell all we can. And also the, what is it, 275 for the experience to get a ticket, go backstage, T-shirt and all kinds of neat stuff. So it's a one-time opportunity really, and they're limited ticket sales. So be sure to do that. And man, and people need to, let's come out of our comfort zone. I mean, Keb Mo is, man, he is a treat. He's a headliner of his own. So come out and support him. And we also have the Jazz Fest. And so let's help them as well. And that's the weekend prior, no? So come out to that. There might be something you don't know what you're missing. Get out of your comfort zone, come check it out. So, all right.
May I speak?
Yes.
I just don't want any of the council or you yourself to leave before I've had you sign this budget paperwork. Please and thank you.
Thank you, Susan, for that reminder.
we
Mr. Mayor,
ahead of time.
Yes, sir.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0.
Start initials on it.
Right.